Good evening. Today we are continuing with our second chapter of PMBOK, and we left off yesterday when we were discussing the various types of organizations, organizational structures, and we did see a comparison of all the 5 different organizational structures. Now we have to discuss each one of them independently. We will start from the functional organization. Functional organization is, as I yesterday told you, functional organization is like it is designed and tailored around the operations or functions of the organization, and it is best suited for that purpose because the lifeblood of an organization is its functions and operations. So this is best suited for that. All the departments are organized in such a way that they can contribute towards the organizational strategy, and the operations of the organization can be done in the most effective and efficient manner. But when you have to do a project in such like an organization, there is a problem. Project has to be a separate effort which may borrow resources from the organization, but it is not part of any operation or function as such. It has its own deliverable to deliver, and whomsoever is assigned as a project manager, he is solely responsible for delivering that deliverable. So in functional organization, such like autonomy to project manager is not possible to be given. In other ways, you can say that in functional organization, project manager is probably, for that matter, projects are probably not that important. They are not considered that important. They have more emphasis on functions and operations. And project is considered to be an additional activity which may or may not happen. So they are not really very inclined towards bringing change. So you can say in a way that there might be resistance to change, which usually wins in a functional organization. And therefore projects are considered not really very important. The classical functional organization is a hierarchy where each employee has one clear superior. So every person belongs to some department and he has got somebody to respond to, answer to, and that boss could be answerable to another boss and ultimately to the top boss. Staff members are grouped by their specialty, like accounts department, finance department, HR department. So they all have their own specialty, and naturally all the people in that department would be specialized in that area. So they have got their own understanding amongst their peers within the department, and they have got their own loyalties. And naturally, in a functional organization, people who are in a department, serving in a department, they would have been serving for quite some time, and they are very well aware of each other, their capabilities, how somebody works, and therefore they have got certain kind of relationship established, teamwork established. So if you try to drag one person out of this team for project, that person himself will not personally like it, and the boss of that person will also resist to give this person, or for that matter any resource. It's not only the human resource, all other resources required for project may also be resisted. So project will only get resources if there is some special importance attached to the project and somebody really is interested to get it done. Otherwise, projects will always be at the last priority. Specialties may be further subdivided into functional organizations such as mechanical and electrical engineering. Each department in functional organization will do project work independent of other departments. So there might be a possibility that uh, our department has its own problem and they devise their own project, and within their department they may be doing some kind of project. That has probably more chances to succeed because they don't have to borrow any resources from outside, so they are doing something within the department. So this kind of uh, relationship may exist within our department. But normally projects need to have resources from other corners of the organization. This is a traditional diagram of a traditional functional organization which is headed by a chief executive, and then functional managers are under him, and naturally each functional manager is having his own department and his own staff. Now in this type of organization structure, every functional manager is important in his own way, and he has his own responsibilities, and his staff is dedicatedly available to him and him alone. When somebody assigns a project, maybe it is a chief executive, maybe someone else, someone conceives a project and he wants something new to be done, some change to be brought into the system, that project is not actually assigned to any of the functional managers, or no persons are actually nominated, no resources are nominated for that. Even the person who is going to coordinate this project is not even a project manager. He is just, we call him just a project coordinator who does not have any power, but he has been given some responsibility to get this project done. Now it all depends upon this person, how he interacts with the various functional managers, begs them for the resources, and if somebody is kind enough, he would give him the resources, and then he may do some of the work. But naturally, project has its own timeline. If you get a resource from one functional manager and then you need another resource from another functional manager, and that resource does not come, the sufferer is the project. So project coordinator is always running from pillar to post, and he is usually not successful in a functional organization. Here it is shown in green. There are some staff members which are required by the project coordinator, and he is begging for these staff members from each of the functional managers. But functional managers exercise the maximum control. They have the control. They are the bosses. So it all depends upon them. If somebody is kind enough, he would allow you some of the resources. So this is most non-conducive kind of environment for running the projects. A weak matrix is very close to a functional organization, although there is an element of a matrix organization in it, that before the project has been assigned to the project coordinator, uh, the resources have been earmarked to the project manager. He knows that which resource is going to come from which department, and those resources also know that we are assigned for this project, for this job. But again, those people are still lying under the functional manager, and it is the prerogative of the functional manager that he leaves them on that specific time when they are required to do the project work. Because more power is exercised by the functional manager and his job is considered more important than anything else. Therefore, again, the project coordinator or manager, whomsoever is managing that, will face the same dilemma, that people will not be made available to him, and ultimately the project will suffer. So this is also not conducive, but it is slightly better than the other environment, which was a functional organization, because now at least he knows who are the people who he will be getting. So he can, rather than talking to the functional manager, he can directly communicate with those resources and ask them to join. But naturally, they will always come up with an excuse that our functional manager is not allowing us. We are put on a more important job in operations, and therefore we can't come. So that problem could exist. The diagram of a weak matrix is exactly like the functional organization, with the exception that project coordinator is not now running after the functional managers. He is running after the resources, because he knows which are the resources he would be allocated or he would be needing. So he would be coordinating with these staff members to come and join his project and work for him, and naturally he would be still facing the same problem. But as I said, it is slightly better than the functional organization setup, because if at all anything can be done in this format, it may be done. It may be done. But there is no surety that project will be succeeding in this setup. Balance matrix is an interesting setup in which we have the matrix organization, we have the project manager, we have the functional manager, we have people assigned to the functional manager as well as to the project manager. But to make it work, to somehow balance the metrics, the powers of the project manager and the functional manager, you have to come up with some innovative solution. One of the innovative solutions suggested by PMBOK is in front of you. What it does is, this is a beautiful solution. What it does is, he places the project manager under a functional manager. What does happen then? Although project manager has been assigned specific responsibility, he has staff dedicated, staff available to him from various other departments and maybe from this department also. What if somebody is not giving him the staff in time? Who is the boss of the project manager? Who is the boss of the project manager? The functional manager under which he has been placed. Therefore, he becomes the sponsor of the project. So he has the responsibility. Functional manager, if project manager is working under him, he becomes the sponsor. So he shares the responsibility. So he is now responsible for the success of the project. Therefore, if project manager cannot manage these staff members, he will come crying to the functional manager, and functional manager enjoys certain powers in this organization. And all other function managers who have to give him the staff, they are at peer level with this function manager. So this function manager will be able to coordinate with his peers and ensure that his project manager gets all the staff in time. And even if there is a problem, he is directly answerable to chief executive, like all other function managers. So he can complain to the chief executive that if this project is that important, I must be given these resources. Please tell all other function managers to help me, to support me. So that's how project manager is kind of much facilitated. He doesn't have to cry a lot for the resources, because all his problems of coordination of the resources is actually will be handled and managed by the functional manager, because he has his own interest in the project now. So this is how we have somehow balanced the power of the functional and project manager. This is why we say that in balanced matrix organization, projects can get done. Projects can be done here. So this is a conducive environment for the projects. Now, seeing the mechanism we have used here, we have placed the project manager under a functional manager, and we saw that it worked. So let us see how we can use it even better in a strong matrix. In a strong matrix, what they do is they place all the project managers under one functional manager. And they do not give any other job to this functional manager and make him the manager of the project manager. He is at a peer level of all other functional managers. His only job is to coordinate the resources. So now it is kind of a serious business going on about project management. Project management is important to the chief executive. Therefore, he has adopted this kind of a structure in which all the projects have a probability of getting done. So priority has shifted, and therefore this manager of project manager, which is otherwise a functional manager like others, this can be treated as a PMO. This could be a PMO who is coordinating all the resources. PMO also does that, coordinate all the resources of various, and all the project managers communicate with him with this for all resource adjustments and everything. So probably this is something like a PMO, which can exist in a strong matrix organization, and strong matrix organization is the most achievable result for project managers. It is almost you can say that if not the best, then it is the second best. But what is the dream of a project manager? Dream of a project manager is he should not be dependent on anyone. He should have his own dedicated staff, his own dedicated funding, dedicated resources, and he should only be answerable directly to the chief executive. So in this organization, though this is a very classical kind of a structure, and in this we do not see any functional departments and how they exist. They do not exist in this kind of structure, which is in itself an objectionable thing. But as far as looking only at the project manager, he has complete independence. He has dedicated staff. He can do at least the project work will not suffer. Project work is at its best. This is the ideal kind of a situation which usually will not happen. You will not find an organization in which there is no function. Even as I was giving you the example of Nadra, we had a complete project directorate organized exactly as a projectized organization, but the other departments were existing in parallel with the project directorate. And they were, like administration and whatever, finance and accounting and all that, they were existing. So functions were existing. So that means actually what exists in the organizations is not exactly a projectized structure, not exactly a functional structure, not even exactly a weak, strong or balanced metric structure, but something like, something in between. Depending on the organization's needs and requirement, maybe within an organization, their portion of an organization is highly projectized and another portion is kind of a weak matrix and another department is running its own projects. So totally functional or whatever. So all the flavors we have, all the 5 different organizational structures could coexist within a single organization, and every organization will have its own structure. Moreover, when you study the organization structure of an organization, you can put it right as well. How can it be made more conducive for project management? So we can revise organization structures as well. If at all your organization has got that kind of awareness, they realize that projects are important for bringing the change in the organization and for continuous improvement. Therefore, we probably will be doing something to that effect. So I'll just be showing you another composite or a hybrid organization structure, which again is not classical in sense, but it is just a combination of lot many fibers from here and there. You can see a manager of project managers, which is indication of a strong matrix. There is a project running under first functional manager, that is project B coordination, it is written there. So this is an internal project for that functional manager. There is yet another project which is running across the functions, and that is being organized by a project coordinator. So any kind of interaction can exist in an organization, and we cannot seal it that this is the only way of doing it. There is no template for organization structure. But just to give you a very good understanding how these all structures behave. For example, a functional organization or a weak matrix organization or even a balanced matrix organization, they have certain advantages and certain disadvantages. Like you see, a person who is dedicatedly working for a functional organization is under command of the functional manager. His loyalties are with the functional manager, no matter how so have you assigned him to a project manager, but that is, he's not going there with all his heart. He's actually linked to his department, and he doesn't want to go out. Moreover, when he joins project manager and the team is formed, these all these people are strangers to each other in a way, even if they are brought from the same organization from different department, but they are coming from different department, so they do not understand each other. So they don't have any loyalties, and project manager has a challenge that he has to get the job done in a restricted timeline and within a specific budget. So if he has got only 3 months to do this project, how can he convince these people to kindly work on the project with all the dedication? This is a very difficult job. The people who are these people who are coming from the department, they might have their a motivational structure, a loyalty base, or something going on in that department. But here they are completely strangers. So the project manager has to be strong enough to influence them into working according to his desires. That is very important, and project manager's responsibility is much bigger uh, as compared to the functional manager, because he has to get the job done in short period of time. The dedication level for the project has to be even higher than the functional manager, and he doesn't have extra resources. They have to be productive, highly efficient and effective. So this is how the project manager manages his team. So his responsibilities are much bigger than a functional manager.
With reference to this project A coordination,
Right.
the dotted line shown that this is the project manager working at. With reference to project B, the project manager has to be a different project manager.
Yes, this project coordination is an example of a weak matrix. It doesn't have the project manager is shown under it is not the project manager of this project. This is managed by a project coordinator like a weak matrix.
Like a weak matrix.
Yeah.
And project A is being managed as a strong matrix.
Project A is managed as a
strong matrix.
As a weak matrix.
Project A is being managed.
No, strong matrix is the whole thing. All the project managers under the manager of the project. This all thing is the showing them strong matrix.
What I'm trying to ask you is that in this particular diagram, project coordination for project A.
Project A, yes.
The manager is working under a manager of projects, like under a production control.
Not necessarily. He might not be indicating this project manager. Project coordination of project A might mean that there is no project manager and the coordinator is managing the affairs of our project, like in a weak matrix.
It's a project manager.
Yes, it is just shown it like that. But all these three project managers are under the manager of project manager, and they have got. It has not shown all the project's resources. Each project manager's resources are not shown in it. It is just indicated that they will be getting some resources from somewhere.
But the question is that once a project manager, a dedicated project manager exists under functional, some manager of projects level, there is a dedicated project manager. That defines a project to be in a strong matrix condition.
In a strong matrix. The coordination for resources will happen at a manager level.
At a manager level.
Right.
So it shows a strong matrix condition.
Yes.
So in this particular case,
yes.
For project A, there is a project manager.
Yes.
And we can say the project A is being managed as a strong matrix.
I don't agree with that, because that might be a separate project being coordinated, not directly under the manager of the project managers. This might be a separate project.
And about project B, where there is no project manager, in fact.
There is again a project coordinator there.
But there is a project coordinator. But
yes.
In the case of project B, if there is a project coordinator,
yes,
and no project manager, it's a weak matrix.
It is a weak matrix, yes.
Obviously, it is.
And this is also project A is also showing a similar kind of structure.
But project A is showing a project manager there.
Actually, project B is even better than a weak structure. Better why? Because it is a dedicated project of a functional manager. All the resources are within the same functional manager. I would rather say that project A is a weak matrix if you just ignore the project manager from here and consider project coordinator managing certain resources for doing some job.
But you cannot ignore it is given there.
No, these are just, this is not a complete picture.
Right? I was reading this thing in the book, and I got confused about the same thing. And I settled myself by explaining it to myself, like, if there is a project manager working under manager of projects,
right,
and there is a dedicated project manager,
right,
then it has to be a strong matrix. So project A has to be a strong matrix.
Okay.
But project B, which only has a project coordinator and no dedicated project manager, that particularly is this entire structure is a hybrid structure in which one project is being managed as a strong matrix while the other one is being managed as a weak matrix.
You can see here in the strong matrix, this is exactly the same thing, what you are saying. It is just giving an example that the coordination of our project with other staff members is done here. Now, just look at...
Yes, you change the screens?
Yeah, you don't see that?
We get it after a little while.
Okay. Okay. Look at the balance matrix. Is it there?
No, not yet. Let me see.
Yeah. कहाँ है अभी आपके screen?
I'm at the same, the earlier one.
Composite?
Yes, composite. I thought that this is why it is being called as composite, because it has two
It
different
has
kind of.
not two. It has.
At the same
It
time.
could have 10 different types of organization structures.
Yes.
The organizations are complex. Actually, the matter of composite is not organization at all, right? It is just shown here to show that more than one ways of doing project within an organization are possible.
Yes, exactly.
Various departments, various sections
Exactly.
could have their own mechanisms.
Some projects could be run as a week.
As a weak matter, something
as a strong one.
exactly.
Some would be balanced
exactly.
one, and some areas still may be a total functional area.
Exactly.
In fact, in our aeronautical complex, where we had a PAC board,
right,
4 factories running under it.
Okay.
Every single managing director having a chief executive and a chief engineer, so many chief engineers.
Right.
And there was a production control office, and there were certain projects separately running. Certain projects were being run as strong matrices.
As strong matrix, something is running as a weak matrix.
And certain were even being run as projectized condition.
Right, right. You see, can you see the balance now? Balance matrix.
Now I see organizational influences.
Influences.
Yes.
ये कहाँ से आ गई? ये मेरा ख्याल है स्टक हुआ है, स्लो है, कनेक्शन स्लो है. अभी आएगा, बड़ी देर लगाता है.
सही हो जाता है तो काफी स्लो हुआ. मैंने उसकी रिस्टार्ट भी की.
नहीं, that's not the problem. The problem is with the net. It is showing me the view that this screen is now available to you, but it doesn't show at your end. Let me आ गई, बड़ी मेहनत के बाद है. Okay, now just look at the balance matrix organization, and you see under any functional manager there could be a project manager, and he should have a dedicated staff, and the action carried out by project manager is the project coordination. In case of a strong matrix, we have all the managers under a manager or project manager, and the coordination is a similar one. Coordination is shown. Naturally, all the project managers are coordinating for themselves, and the overall availability of the resources is managed by the manager of the project managers. Now, in a composite structure, which is it has shown, it should have shown it that way. Actually, probably they didn't want to make the diagram more complicated. He could have shown another project manager under some other functional manager to show a balanced matrix. And this is a dedicated project B, because this is really confusing, as you were saying, that this could be an example of a strong matrix or a balanced matrix. We can't really differentiate between the two, because in a balanced matrix also project manager under the functional manager. In this case also he is under functional manager. Rather, may it be the manager or project manager, is a functional manager. So anyways, generally speaking, the lesson we want to learn out of it is that more than one types of organizational structures can be affecting your organization, and you have to closely observe your organization to see how good it is. Now, there are, as there are slides in between, you could see like composite structure. Many organizations involve all these structures at various level in composite organization. Even a fundamentally functional organization may create a special project team. वो जो मुझे लफ्ज़ याद नहीं आ रहा था, project-based organization. We studied project-based organization, remember? In olden times, there was this term used, special project teams. They were just assigned a job and for a very short period of time, there was a special project team. So they are now called as project-based organizations. So the team may include full-time staff from different functional departments, may. It may develop its own set of operating procedures, may operate outside the standards, formalized reporting structure, etc. But generally speaking, a projectized organization would have dedicated staff. And there are problems attached with that. Naturally, the staff is dedicated, the resources are dedicated, is directly answerable to the big boss. But won't you feel that in a projectized organization there will be a lot of wastage of resources?
Yes.
Because where the sharing could have been done, there is no sharing. People are sitting idle doing nothing, just on the payroll of the project. And moreover, because this is a permanent staff for me, so project manager has it develops loyalties with them. You know, they have got rapport. They start becoming a part of the kind of a small little organization. When the project is finishing, project manager is more worried about his men rather than the project. Where will they go if project finishes? What will happen to these people? So he starts thinking on those lines and he starts facilitating them, thus sometimes damaging the project, elongating it unnecessarily just to accommodate people for a little longer, or maybe providing them, you know, opportunities for getting hired elsewhere while being on the project list. So that kind of things, these things are not allowed. This is not expected from a project manager, because project manager, man management is one thing, but project manager is responsible for efficient, effective management of the project. Not, you know, if the project suffers, nobody will ask him how good were you with the people. He is committing a crime. So he should not be looking after the people beyond the required standards. So there is a tendency in this kind of structure. In a functional organization, as I said, there are no loyalties. People are coming to the project and they are half-hearted because they know a report is to be written by the functional manager. So they don't really work well at the project. And project manager is, highly troubled because of the pressures of time and cost and all that. And if at all he has to get the job done, he has to be a great motivator, much beyond anyone else.
So, having studied all these matrices,
yes,
having studied all these kind of organizational structures,
yes.
Have you had a flavor of seeing these defense industry, DP industry of Pakistan? Most of the industry is organizationally set up as projectized
right
organizations.
But then it would be self-accounting.
Manufacturer has a factory,
right,
which is especially a project is loaded, when a DP1 is loaded and a project is loaded for making manufacturing the tanks.
Exactly.
And a new model of tanks is again, loaded as a brand new project.
Right.
With multiple, with the duplication of the assets, duplication of resources. Similarly, in our PAC aeronautical complex, we have there's a project loaded for overhauling one kind of radars. Agreed. Then there is a project loaded for overhauling another kind of radars. Right. Now my question is it really possible that you develop the organizational structure with specialized functional managers and then create a very robust and a very good scheduling software or scheduling production management system, right, which could utilize the facilities of cross-functional resources, right, to conduct one project and the second project and the third project. Yes, I fully agree with you. These are kind of the projectized organizations, but
how are these organizations, individual depots or individual production facilities, how are they running? What about their administration and other issues? They are actually self-accounting.
Yes.
They are doing the project work, but the small little functional departments are still there in every one of those production facilities. Their salaries come, their HR hiring and other things are managed, but naturally the major importance is on the work of the project. It is similar to a software industry, like you are a software house and you are only doing projects all the time. But naturally somebody has to be there to look for accounts and other things. The small little other functions will exist. But you can say predominantly it is a projectized structure. Predominantly. But 100% it is not. And as I said, if at all it is, it has to have its own self-accounting unit. Let's take example of a UN project, which they provide a funding to the project, and here they hire a project director and tell him this is the funding, and now it is your business, do whatever you feel like. You buy the building, you hire the building, you hire the people and whatever, these are the objectives you have to do. So this is a completely self-accounting unit they have given him, so he has to administer himself and he also has to do the project. So this is a complete projectized thing. As soon as this job is done, the project will be packed. Everything will be, taken. They will get rid of everything. If they have bought the building, they will sell it at the end of the day. If they have, taken it on some rent, then again, so everything will finish off after the project is done. So this is probably this is the best example of a projectized organization in which there is nothing. The project director is linked to the United Nations in any other way, except for he goes and meets them and comes back. Otherwise, everything he has to do is allocated to him. He has whole, accounting purposes and everything. He is responsible for the whole project, and that there could be a project, could be a program.
I was asking of functional managers. Now there could be functional managers for accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Accounts and finance and marketing. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking of those functions.
You're talking about production manager.
I'm talking of functional managers in the areas of, for instance, sheet metal work, welding,
right,
then precision measuring,
right,
then precision engineering,
okay,
piece parts production.
Okay.
Now, these are the areas which are very specialized in the facilities of each one of these. Even welding facilities, which are considered to be very small, little, they are housed in big hangars.
Right.
So, once you're talking of these functional areas, if you call them functional areas, because these are specialties.
They are specialized productive.
Which have dedicated, well-trained human resource.
They are the
for
operations.
the past 20 years, all specialized welding machines.
Yes.
And they are the masters of welders, and the sheet metal workers are the masters of sheet metals, and the coating areas.
But they are the specialists on that, no? They are not doing the projects by themselves. You are asking them to do something, and the specialist gets the thing out of it, is working for you.
Now, once these functional areas are there, my question comes in. That there is a project that comes in, which is probably manufacturing of aircraft X.
Right.
And then manufacturing of aircraft Y.
Right.
You dedicate a project manager for project X.
Right.
And you dedicate a project manager for project Y.
Okay.
Both have to
make use of these resources.
All these resources.
So they are the functional resources. They are the functional resources. They all will be using the same resources, same specialty, same die and everything.
So that would be a strong matrix kind of position.
That would be a strong matrix.
It will not be a projectized.
It will not be a projectized. Projectized has got its own resources. You will have your own factory, as you were saying earlier.
Yes, for having a project, for having a strong matrix situation, you'll have to have a very robust production management, because there will be conflict of interest between project X and project Y.
Right.
Obviously,
exactly.
They have to schedule their manpower.
Yeah. Exactly. So projectized is a dedicated thing.
The most efficient with respect to cost benefit analysis.
Right, right.
Would be
you have to decide for that. If you feel the strong matrix, and as I said earlier, strong matrix is the most achievable structure.
Yeah.
This is ideal. This is a dream. If I could have this power. So,
yes.
but we seldom go for that.
In our DP
Exactly.
We are following our dreams.
Exactly.
Because we have enormous resources.
Yes.
We put the machines, they went
yes.
and you don't mind.
Exactly. Yes. Jisha Khan, आप बड़ी देर से कुछ सवाल करना चाह रहे
हैं? No problem, sir. It was interesting discussion. I just wanted to add my 2 cents into the already interesting discussion.
Hello.
Sir. Actually, do you listen me, sir?
Shahan?
Am I audible? Okay. Actually, despite its advantages,
Shahan?
highly projectized. Hello, sir. Can you listen me? Hello. Am I audible, sir? Some issue. Hello? Hello?
Jisha Khan?
Am I audible, sir? Hello? Hello?
Okay, I think we should move on. Right. So we were talking about the organizational structures. Many organizational structures include strategic, middle management and operational level. Naturally, whatever kind of organization you are talking about, there is a top level management, a middle level management, and bottom operational level management. The project manager may interact with all 3 levels depending on factors such as strategic importance of the project, capacity of the stakeholders to exert influence on the project, degree of project management maturity. This is again very important. If your organization is mature enough, the whole mechanism of handling the project will be different. Project management system, is there a system existing? So most of the organizations do not have maturity and do not have systems for project.
You have system and
yes.
maturity.
Yes.
The way I was asking about.
Exactly.
If you have proper system in place and maturity, you can run a strong matrix with very good project management.
Very good project management, exactly.
And you don't need to go for a projectized.
Well, projectized is as I gave you the example of a United Nations project. So there is no need for that United Nations project to interact with any other project. That is an independent project. So our program. So it is all right for them to be fully projectized.
Yes, that is true.
So in that kind of
it's totally dedicatedly, all resources are coming for one project.
Exactly, for one project.
They're being imported or they're being gifted or whatever.
Exactly.
They're coming dedicated for one project.
Yes.
Then it's okay.
So that suits them. That suits them. The interaction determines project characteristics such as project manager's level of authority. What level of authority you want to give to the project manager. Naturally, in a weak matrix and in a functional organization, you do not have much power. So the organizational structure will be decided based on what kind of power you want to give to the project manager. Resource availability and management, entity controlling the project budget. Who should control the project budget? You see, in a projectized and in a strong matrix, the budget is controlled by the project manager. In a weak matrix and a functional, budget is controlled by the functional manager. So this depends upon what kind of need is there for the project, authority, budget, resource availability, the role of the project manager, and the composition team.
Strong matrix, the budget is being controlled by the
project manager, mostly by the project manager.
Controlling the budget means what?
See, projects are being honored in a strong matrix as more important than the functions. यानी ये यूँ समझ लें कि we can projects are so important that we can stop the functional work and give so much importance to the project. That means projects are of prime importance. Like you are working on a nuclear project and there is a normal functioning meeting going on, you say, to hell with that meeting. We will go for that nuclear project, which the needs of the work of the nuclear project is more important. So that depends upon what is more important. Operation is more important, function is more important, or the project is more important. So in projectized, project is the most important. In strong metric, project is definitely important. But in a weak and functional organization, project is of absolutely no importance at all.
Project means that if you want to indent certain spares, annual forecast, or you want to induct certain machine, it is mostly the project manager who is the one who raises the indents.
Yes.
No matter the budget guy says,
invert structure. Then project manager has power to do that. Yes. In a strong matrix or a projectized. But what about a functional organization? Project manager has nothing. So he has to beg the functional manager, I need this resource. Why not?
If there's a functional manager for engineering, he's the engineering boss.
Right.
The organization is an engineering organization. Budget guy would not have any say over the intents. He doesn't have any say.
May it not be the budget guy. May it be the engineering guy. But he's not the project manager. But who is deciding? Who is deciding on the amounts, where they go, how they are spent? Project manager तो है ही नहीं वीक में, और उसमें तो project coordinator है. Project manager तो है ही नहीं.
Sir, am I audible?
करेगा तो वो function है ना. Function है ना वो. Yeah. So someone else does, not the project manager.
Someone else does. It may not be the budget guy.
May not be.
Not going to be a budget guy.
Any functional guy. Any functional.
Yes, this is clear.
शाखान बोलिए, बड़ी देर से हम आपका इंतजार कर रहे हैं, आपकी आवाज नहीं आई पहले.
Yes, sir. There was some problem in the audio system. I just wanted to share my 2 cents into this discussion, sir. Hello? Am I audible, sir?
Hello?
No. Hello?
ना चैट जा रही है, ना आवाज जा रही है. मैंने भेजी लेकिन शाखान ने जवाब नहीं दिया. He is there. वो बार बार हाथ भी खड़ा करता है. शाखान आवाज आती है आपको?
हेलो सर जी, आवाज आ रही है लेकिन मेरी आवाज आपको नहीं आ रही. हेलो?
Something wrong. फंस गए ना, मतलब क्या करें.